There, they got in position, but there was nothing to it. Straight through the middle of them, wonderful play. That's the way it's done. And it's that man, Khairul Zaman. Here's the 1-2-3 punch as well, saved by the Tekong, set up by the feeder, and then put away.
Khairul Zaman.
Malaysians are going to have to be careful that they don't get a little bit too nonchalant there. They need to stay on their toes. It's difficult. Scoreboard is about to tick round. That's one-way traffic at the moment. Back in the days of first to 15 points, you'd start thinking about the dreaded bagel, and will they give them a mercy point?
First to 21. Against Singapore earlier on today. That's Shahir, the big number 23, Shazrin Kamar, who's the scrambler and the fetcher.
Humanly possible, you might as well play them in the final if you're going to play them at all.
The Koreans will focus on them in a moment.
And striker, you're going to see them moving around a lot.
Going on today, we've just seen Thailand get the better of Myanmar, 21-16, 21-16. Malaysia, Korea. Later on, we've got the women's group, Thailand versus Myanmar, Malaysia versus Vietnam. But now it's the men's regu, Korea, to get us underway. Level. And straight into the net. Kim Jung-sik.
An inauspicious start for Korea there.
First to 21, best of 3 sets. Shazrin. And that's beautifully played.
It was saved by Shazrin Kamar, and that meant that he couldn't set it up. So it was up to Shahir Rosdi to set it up, which he did for Khairul Zaman, who's on the board already with his first spike.
And that's long. A 3-fer against your own serve, not what you want to get off.
No, and now it's up to Shahir Rosdi. There's a lot less pressure on his shoulders than there was at the start of the derby against Singapore this morning, but he certainly rose to the pressure. Let's see what he does now.
Just a slight stoppage. We've got a scoreboard malfunction. It's saying 2-0. There we go. That just swings away from Kim Jung-sik, and Korea almost coming out with shoulders slumped and nothing positive.
They're looking lethargic, aren't they?
And 5 love down.
For me, I know the Korean Championships are on at the moment, but surely they could have spared at least one experienced player, either Im An-soo or Kim Young-man in the striker position, for example, just to an old hand to lead the youngsters.
Shazrin. Well, there's a role reversal. Shazrin setting up Khairul Zaman.
There we go. Khairul Zaman with his second successful spike already. He was a little way from the net there, but he picked his angle perfectly, hits the tape and goes over.
Shazrin. Again, Khairul Zaman. Wow, 6 love.
Make that 7 as the scoreboard is about to tick round. That's one-way traffic at the moment. Back in the days of first to 15 points, you'd start thinking about the dreaded bagel, and will they give them a mercy point?
First to 21. Off the tape. But Satu Duo Tiga for Malaysia. 3-fer, 3-fer, 3-fer.
At the moment, it's a training run for the Malaysians. It's almost as if they can just practice their set moves, and Khairul Zaman must be absolutely loving this. He knows that it's going to be set up for him every time.
The bagel is avoided on point number 10.
There's the mercy point. Goes a little bit long. Only ever been one bagel in ISTAF competition. Brunei Darussalam inflicted a 15 love on USA.
Well done, Stato. When?
Ooh, back in the day.
You can't answer that. 9-2.
It was in the first season.
A couple of service errors here.
I'm going to say it was in Palembang, but you can look it up on www.sepaktakraw.org.
Off the top of the tape. Need to emphasise, if you're watching Sepak Takraw for the first time, this isn't a true indication of Korea's abilities. It's very much a second string team. He thought it was in, did Jung-sik. He was as surprised as anyone when it was called out. 2-11.
What they would give to have Park Hyung-gyun in the Taekong circle at the moment.
Rosdi, Shazreen, Khairul. The set's not great. And that's self-set from Mohammad Shazreen Kamar.
It was a save, set and spike from the... He rarely gets a chance to spike Shazreen Kamar. They occasionally let him do it on match point. You see it for Patrapong Yupadi as well. He was always allowed to finish off matches for Thailand.
Shazreen again. And Khairul Zaman. 12-2.
Almost the first block there from Jo Wan-hyung. The Malaysians are going to have to be careful that they don't get a little bit too nonchalant there. They need to stay on their toes. It's difficult when you're playing a second string team, but they need to get the killer instinct. They call the spikers or the strikers the killers in this game, and they need to keep a killer instinct.
Because the next match is a semi-final. Can't turn off. Third service error from Shahir Rosdi, and maybe they asked.
We had that a little bit in the match against Japan from Shahir Rosdi. He can get out of a rhythm. This morning in the Straits Derby, he never lost his focus all the way through and served at a 90% clip. 6 service winners as well.
Hey, fine winner, Wang Kyong. The set from Seongguk.
Finally, a first spike for Jo Wan-hyung. That'll give him a little bit of personal pride, and he took it very well.
Perfectly executed roll spike. Too much for Wee Seongguk.
Shahir Rosdi will be looking to crack the 70 km/h barrier, just to send out a message to the Thais.
Shazreen, Khairul Zaman. You can only beat what's put in front of you.
Well, there he was given the freedom of the net. He had to move across a little bit, but the Korean defence, they neither came forward nor backed off. They did a lot of nothing there.
But it's still stunning athleticism. And judgment.
That was very well left as it drifted just long.
17-4, 3 serves to come. That was special. That was worth it from Wang Kyong.
He's picked up a couple of points. It was very, very good defence from the Tekong, Kim Jung-sik, who's the captain of this team, so responsibility on his young shoulders.
Seongguk just can't get into the game, the Korean feeder. That one bouncing off his right foot.
Feeders are the one who have to do all the defensive work, and he really needs to be keeping alive these services from Shahir Rosdi.
There is the youngster, 20 years of age. Oh, nicely played. He's shown good awareness at the net as Wee Seongguk. Sorry, Jo Wan-hyung.
He's been the standout player for them so far. He really struggled in the match yesterday against Singapore. He's looking more of a presence, a bit more about him today.
Khairul Zaman through the double block.
Even the double block looked lethargic. They went there, they got in position, but there was nothing to it. Straight through the middle of them. Wonderful placement from Khairul Zaman.
And Khairul Zaman, self-set, sets up 14 set points, 14.
Now that was wonderful placement. He had to go out, make sure he had the time and the place, and look at the placement.
Jung-sik celebrating his first ace.
And well, he might.
The first ace of the whole match.
Yes. Perfect. Cannoned into the tape and went over. That's a perfect service.
And the long road continues. It's not the road to Mandalay. We're in Naypyidaw. But I'm desperate to use that phrase.
And you have. Wonderful placement there from Des Corkill. Jo Wan-hyung, he's got a bit about him. He's got a bit about him.
And a three-for.
3 set points saved already.
Still Malaysia on serve, but it's 4 service faults, which is 1 more than he served in the whole match against Singapore. Seeing a furrowed brow in Drew Lilly.
He raises his game against good opposition, and then he seems to bring it down against weaker ones.
And there's your pal, Wan-hyung again. What's his stats for Wan-hyung? He's up to...
That must be at least 5, I'd have thought now. 5 spikes.
5 spikes. Still set point. Shazrin Kumar to Khairul Zaman.
That's the way it's done.